Okay. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to wet my brush. And I dip and I turn, I press a few times so that my bristles will get wet all the way through. And then we're going to dry my brush off so that when I would test it and squeeze it, 1 extra drop of water will come out. You see that? That's that extra drop of water. That lets me know that that's the perfect amount of water extra to have in that reservoir. Okay? So new students, you can practice doing that, wetting your brush and drying your brush until you can get a great consistency. Now I put a little bit of black ink in my dish here, and I'm using liquid ink. And we're going to make some stalks. And I've dipped it in and I'm drying it off. Like that, getting rid of all the extra water that I don't want in there. And bringing my brush to a point again. And I'm going to start like off the paper. Here. So if you are concerned with getting your felt dirty, you can put a scrap piece of paper underneath and paint on that. So here's my scrap piece of paper. I'm putting it underneath my good paper like that, so that I can paint a little bit onto this paper first. All right. And remember, we're going to take a deep breath in, and then when I exhale, I'm going to make my stems, and I'm going to make a short one. No, I think I'm supposed to be this way. Excuse me. I'm at the right way. Okay. Can everybody see my paper? So
Yes, we can.
Right, perfect. And you see the wet my brush. You're going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to hold it too a little bit so that it doesn't move around. And I might start down here where my scrap is, right? Breathe, stop. Breathe, stop. Breathe, stop. Okay. So now I have a stem with 2 joints. And you can see each one of these is straight. And if I wanted it to curve, that's where I curve. So my brush would go straight here. And I'd stop, stop. And you can see now, all my bristles were used and my brush is no longer pointed. I got that. No.
Excuse me, Iris?
Yes.
We're using the side stroke like we usually do, or an upright?
No, I'm doing an upright stroke because the guys are not used to it yet. I'm doing an upright stroke. So when I press down, these bristles are coming all the way from here to here are painted. If I was to use a side stroke, my bristles would be down here like this, okay?
Right.
If you use a vertical brush. Thanks, Anita, for asking that. Okay. So now I want to paint the joint here with the connections. So my bristles are all wide here, right? So we have to join them together again. And they came out with, I have like a darkish ink. I want to make my joints with black ink. So if you're using your ink stone, it would be the flat part here. where you would get the rings, right? For this part, the stem, you want to use your medium ink. For those of you who have mixed your ink, it would be, this would be your medium ink, and this would be your most concentrated ink that you're going to use for your rings. And if you don't feel comfortable yet in using your regular brush to make your rings, use your fine line brush. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to do rings first, and then I'll paint it on the stem that I just did. So I dip my brush in, I take off all the extra water. Right, and here we want to make sure we get rid of lots and lots of water because we want our rings to be nice and black. And then dipping in my black ink, my dark ink, and again getting it excess out and making sure I have a nice point. And for beginners, you can make your ring just like a horizontal line, just like you would could be painting your H, the letter H, right? Just like that. You press it a little bit more and get it fatter, like that. And then you can do a dot above and a dot below. Dot above and a dot below. Okay. So I'm going to show my first joint like that for beginners. Here's my area where I stopped. That's my joint. And right in the middle of that joint, I'm going to create that ring. And I'm going to come straight across. And for me, it's easier to go from right to left. For right-handed people, it's probably easier to go from left to right. And then a little dot above and a little dot below. Right over that. Now, for more advanced students, you might want to make your rings to look rounded. So if you're looking at your bamboo and you're looking up at your bamboo, the joints are going to appear to be bowed like this, like a rainbow. If you're looking from what we call the godly view and you're looking down, it's going to look like a bowl instead. I'm going to show you how to do both of those. And if our brush was a car, we would do a reverse. So if I want to create this bowl shape, I'm going to go up and then reverse, back, and reverse. If I want to create that rainbow shape, I go this way, back, and reverse. Or for left-handed people, from the right to the left, right? And then it would look like that. If I turned it upside down, it would look like that. So no, don't be afraid to turn your paper around if you want it and say, oh, I made it this way. Like that. That's the God view, right? But I'd rather look at it from below. And you turn your paper around. Move your paper to make it more comfortable for you. So here's my ring. And you want to do all of them the same. And so if you do rainbow ones, all rainbow joints, right? If you do straight across, all straight across ones. But for demonstration purposes, I'm showing you two different ones. Okay. I'm going to stop recording.